Got it. We are live. We are live.
I just wanna be free when my people to prosper and hold it down.
Wait. Technical difficulties again. Darn it, I just wanted to record at the same time.
I just wanna be free when my people to prosper and hold it down. Don't you sit and wait, contemplating on a revolution. The time is now. I just wanna be free. I just wanna be free. I just wanna be free. I just wanna be free.
Okay. Another episode of the Things I Wish I Knew About Money podcast. I'm your host, Camille Smith.
Data connection lost.
And welcome, Kurt. Once again is here on episode 79. All that good stuff. Welcome, Kurt. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well.
I got
It's been a
invited
minute.
back. I guess
Yeah.
they did something good the last time.
Yeah, you with your
Somebody
discussion.
sent in a good review. Must have been one of my friends.
Well, you did get a shout out. Sharon Fletcher, she was very impressed with our last episode. So, I had to bring you back. And I believe with this lovely topic,
I listened to that episode. It was a good one. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It's a good one.
And here I think
Sharon's good energy, good people.
She is. She definitely is. And the funny thing is, she wanted to be the number one video.
Yeah? Who's number one?
She's number one now. She is number one now. Yes. Okay. So I gave her a shout out.
That's what you call living up to the billing. That's it. She's in media. Exactly. She's the number one. What more can you ask for?
Right. I had to give her a little shout out. Because hers is really important. And I find even the last one is really important as well.
Yeah, she retired. That's good. Congrats to her.
Yeah, right? I'm trying to get to that level. And all that good stuff.
Me too.
But
needs to send some of that money this way.
we could talk to her. But I thought, what would be a great discussion to talk about, especially after those lovely episodes that I had. And I was like, well, I have no children.
No?
But I have.
Want some help fixing that? I can find some volunteers.
We'll see. But that's another story. I have a story to tell you at the end. Offline.
Okay.
But
I won't call it any names.
No, please. No names. That but I have nieces and nephews, and I guess I don't have any godchildren yet. No one wants me to be their godmother yet. It's fine. When the time comes, I'll be okay. Money. That is true. But like I said, there's a lot of nieces and nephews, so I still feel the pockets.
Yeah, no. I got more than my share. I'm approaching. I'm probably up to 30 by now. So
30.
It's all
Jeez,
good.
Louise. Yeah. My gosh. Well, in that case, I just thought, since we were talking about trying to get out of the hood, or getting into a neighborhood, or retiring at a great age, I thought Well,
What's a good age for retirement? And this is retiring with kids or without kids?
ooh, oh, that's a good question.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean, I guess with kids.
I'm late to the kids game. My daughter's only 2.5, so retiring without them or with them. Oh, it's a tall order.
Ooh, yeah, true. I mean, I haven't even gotten to the stage yet, so I guess I can't say without kids. I would say 40. No. I forgot how old I was for a second.
Why not? Speak it.
40? No. But I mean, for financial freedom, like we discussed last time, sure. But
Some people
retirement,
you can retire upon marriage, you know?
that,
That's an option too.
that is true.
Yeah,
So if there's
lots of
anyone,
options.
there's anyone out there looking for a person that they just want to take care of, I guess I'll consider cooking and cleaning. I'm just joking.
Consider.
That was a joke.
Consider.
That was a joke. That was a joke. But with the question that you asked with kids, I think depending on when you started, I don't see why 50 or 55 isn't a good number. Depending on the children
Mhm.
and the career and all that good stuff that you have to be able to jumpstart that, right? But I was always thinking like with thinking about retirement or thinking about getting out of sticky situations, it's always good to like the kids. When it comes to money, I always found that we weren't in our culture, the Caribbean culture, it was a taboo for parents to talk about money with their kids.
Yeah, because there was no trees in the backyard growing them. So why were you talking about it? It wasn't, you know,
It was like, no,
there
this
was
is
none to pick
grown
off the tree.
people's talk. You don't need to know about this. I'm like, I do. I see you. I see you. So like I always talk about the experiences I had with my parents. Like I would
Mhm.
always see them. I always saw us getting out of sticky situations and always like going up a next level.
Yeah.
And thank heavens, even though I felt like I was sheltered after, especially after the last episode, I was like, dang, I was really sheltered.
Yeah.
But I mean, it happens,
It's
right?
okay. You got the life you live, you know. It's the idea that your parents were able to put you in a position to not have to deal with certain things. Why
Mhm.
not? Every parent should be able to do that,
True.
or should be
Um,
trying to do it. And
mm,
you know, unfortunately, it's not that easy for everybody.
yeah.
You know, for me, my parents, they immigrated here.
Mm,
Um, so coming from Jamaica, they obviously didn't have the that money language talk down pat. It's not that we couldn't talk about it. I never really thought to talk about it, to be honest. I didn't think there was anything to talk about. We didn't have any money. So it's not like I had all these questions. I was like, you know, other than why don't we have any money was
yeah.
my only question, right? But
Yeah.
I kind of had a sense, you know, immigrated here, tried to make a living. You know, that was a chance they took so that their children could have a better future. And the truth is that I'm the one that taught my parents about money, right?
Ooh.
So it's I can remember when I,
Mhm.
you know, came back from school and really, you know, making my $50 here, $20 there. And I came back with a finance background and I had some exposure to investing in school
Yeah.
through play money. And I just, you know, one day I was just, you know, talking to my dad. I said, why don't you let me help you open up an account? So I opened up back then it was like a ING account. I think ING is now Tangerine or something.
Yeah.
And so I opened up one of those accounts, high yield savings accounts. And it
Oh
was
man.
like, back then they were paying real interest on the bank account.
Yes.
And so, my dad gets his first statement and he calls me like one of those calls that I'm in trouble. Kurt, come here. But he was actually just in shock with the amount of interest he was earning from sitting on cash.
Nice.
He wasn't used to earning money on his cash in the bank because the bank was never giving him any, right? And he had this big smile on his face, and that just kind of gave me a motor to continue teaching people, regardless of whether they're older, younger. It just kind of, it was one of those moments I clicked that I kind of do understand or know a little bit more probably than the average person, even though I just came out of school.
Mhm.
And it incentivized me to want to learn more so that I could teach more.
So I like that. Like I think the thing with parents, and you
Mhm.
could correct me if I'm wrong, is until they see the proof in the pudding, they're gonna be like, what do you know?
Yeah.
Until they're like, oh, well, you do know quite a little thing.
Yeah.
Come, show me more.
Yeah, no, my parents were open to it.
Yeah.
Probably because I've been focused on financial freedom, entrepreneurship, this whole journey since I was, probably before I was a teenager. It was just one of those things that I was always interested in. Some kids, they wish for like PlayStation or Xbox or whatever when they blow out their candles and they hope, they can go and look somewhere, chase around the house for whatever they ask for. Every
Yeah.
time I blew out a candle, I was wishing for $1 million. And they said I need to be more specific. I need $1 million in my drawer after I'm blowing out this candle. And I would go to my drawer and check. It was never there. But the wish never changed.
The wish never changed.
changed.
I don't see why it would.
Yeah.
So that's good. That actually, I like that you had a mindset of like money. So it made sense. But what about like friends that you had that probably didn't have that same mindset as you? You think they were able to realize, or they fed off of you?
Everybody kind of, I did start a t-shirt business when I was younger with a few friends.
Okay.
That we did it for a bit, ended up going to school, university. It kind of just fell apart after that. Didn't have the ability to go to school and manage it at the same time. I didn't know how to. And so it just kind of fell off the wayside. But those friends still around, and other friends, it's interesting because like I was trying stuff, but I didn't know what I was doing, right? So following me or me preaching to people about what I didn't know, and I wasn't making a lot of money. And then I eventually got a job like everybody else. And so it didn't really click for me until like towards the end of university, first year of work, that type of thing.
Yeah.
In terms of how this game, like the basics of how the game works. Before then, it was just a desire. It was literally just, I want this, I want my piece of the cake, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it. There has to be a better life. Like when you're born in a situation in which, there's only one way to go, which is up, or you could stay there. Like there's no going any further down. So it didn't make any difference, right? It's either I stay here or I climb, right? So there wasn't much to lose from that perspective in terms of trying or learning. And so when I started, I was just like, hey, look, if I lose all my money, then I'm back to where I started. And if I don't, then I'll be further ahead.
Back where you started. Oh God.
Yeah. Then I would have been on your show last week, just venting. Anyways.
That's true. But I mean, gosh, just the thought of starting back, especially with how the stock market has been going.
Mhm.
But it actually has been doing well. So And I do remember obviously that we've done many programs with the youths with trying to teach them about money. And the funny thing is always that not how well the kids are or the youths are catching on,
Mhm.
but the parents, they're like, wait, so what did you just learn?
Yeah, it was. I always have fun running that program because the kids learn a lot. The parents are interested, and the parents want their kids to learn things at a younger age that they didn't learn. As a matter of fact, many of the parents still don't know it, right? But they're sending their kids because they want their kids to be more literate.
Yeah.
But when you see some of these kids in the markets and the returns that they're generating in such a short period of time, it's really a pleasure seeing that type of consistent success, right? Like we've done it 3 times now,
Yeah.
and every single time there's a particular group of kids that really seem to pick up on what the markets are about, how it works, and they're really just learning the basics, and it tends to show in their returns in some way. And even the
Yeah.
ones that don't make a lot of money, they really speak to what they learned and how they learned it, and just the different things that opened up their eyes about money and opportunities. And that's probably one of the things that I enjoy the most. That's one of the things I enjoy the most.
I don't enjoy when they whip my ass though.
Yeah. You're 0 for 3. They are just like, you gotta.
But to be fair,
What happened? 0 for 3.
I
Those
was
kids
winning
at
the
some
time.
point during the competition.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'll give that to you. At some point during the competition, you were close to the upper half or something. I give it to you. I give it to
No,
you.
I was number one. It was I don't remember what stock it was, but I think everyone followed suit. And then when it plummeted, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. No, they're good. They're really good. I haven't. I would do that. I'll be doing a few more of those as time goes by and I get to free up some time again. We'll do another one. The kids are really good. Parents really enjoy it. We'll go from there.
So you said you started off with your friends, and then I know you normally you started when it came to your family, so it was your dad and then your nephews. How is that?
When I finally got a handle on the stock market, and when I say handle, I mean the first year was a little brutal. Maybe first year and a half, 2 years was just like throw up brutal. Like,
and if anyone wants to hear
it works.
He's mentioned it many times.
But after I got the hang of it, then I started saying, look, everybody needs to understand how this works, right? I went to the complete other side of it, which was just, look, you got to learn how to do this. And so what I did was I just started introducing my nieces, my nephews, and getting them accounts opened, before they're even 10 years old. They had like investment accounts open. And that's been just one of the things that I've tried to get them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the younger ones, when I first introduced them to the concept, it's the same thing for everybody, whether you're young or old. My introduction is almost always the same, which is introducing them to something that they know, right? And one of my nephews, I just said, what do you want to buy? Pick a company. What do you want to buy, right? Mm-hmm. And he chose Adidas at the time. Because he was on a football team. He had Adidas, outfits, gear, that type of stuff. So he was seeing Adidas everywhere. So he said, I want to own a piece of Adidas, right? Makes sense. I was like, sure, no problem, makes sense. And so we went, eventually gets older, grows out of his shoes, needs to go get a new pair. We take him to the shoe store, one of the sports stores around here. And it, time to get a new pair of shoes. And so, picked up a pair of, Nikes and ones, all these ones. He's like, nope, nope, I want Adidas, right? He made
Yeah.
that connection between the money being spent and the
Mm,
stock that he owned, right? And
nice.
so he made that connection. Therefore, he wanted to put his money towards a brand that he owned,
Exactly. And
right?
that always
And
makes sense.
and he was, at the time he was 9, 10 years old, maybe,
Yeah.
right? And already understood the concept of ownership and that link, right? And so that's when it really clicked for me, even from a youth perspective, just in terms of their ability to comprehend, take this stuff in the most basic form of what it is and what's happening. It's not that hard to do.
And I think that's one thing I always mention. Like, if you are interested in that, just think of companies that you are aware of or that you use all the time. Or if it's really tricky for you, just go for an ETF that has a bunch of companies that you're aware of. Or I always say the S&P 500 to keep it safe, even though it's hurting me these days.
The market fluctuates, but when you start with something that
Mhm.
you're more likely to make the connection um, between the things that you are doing in your
Yeah.
everyday life
Mhm.
and then how it connects to that company's profits or losses.
Okay. And when you say you help them open up account, because I always think, I know it's in the States mostly, the stockpile. And ideally the last couple like baby showers or christenings that I've been to, I was like, I really wish I could like set up an account for like my niece and nephew and then just have them open up an investment account. But I just heard you say they were about 9 or 10. So aren't there other ways? I know there's the RESP, and I know
RESP is one way. You can also just open up a kind of trustee guardianship account where the account is open, it automatically gets handed over to them when they turn 18. And then before then, because you're not old enough to legally sign anything, you're
Mhm.
kind of the guardian helping them make decisions.
Okay.
But you open it up, put the money in there. Even better, they work for the money. And then instead of spending the money, they understand how to make that money grow,
Right
right?
in there. Yeah.
And then the RESP is another one. You do have to open it up on their behalf as well, but you can have them put the money in there if they're working, contribute to their education, and go from there. Like, my daughter's 2.5,
Yeah.
and so she's already invested in about 4 stocks.
Boy.
So, and then
Nice.
she's eventually she will learn more and more about what's happening there. And then by the time she's ready to go to school,
Mhm.
she'll be, hopefully she'll be knowledgeable enough to manage the money
Yeah.
and
I'm pretty sure she
and
will.
understand what you never know, right? Not all kids pick up on money, and especially not all kids pick up on what their parents do, right? They,
That's
they
true.
prefer they prefer to do something else, so they think whatever their parents doing is boring or not cool or whatever. It's like, come on, dad, all you ever do is talk about money. I want to do something else. So it can go either way, but I think as long as she picks up on some of the basics around what's helping pay for her education,
Yeah.
um,
No.
and maybe ideal where she'll pay for it herself. But that's a whole nother theory of mine. What that's we're not, maybe we'll get to that one later, or we'll
Yeah.
see. But yeah, that was kind of the way I've been introducing it. So with my daughter, it's easier because one, she's young,
Mhm.
and I can try different things to see how she responds.
Okay.
And it could be as simple as, well, first of all, on my phone, her favorite app is a finance app, right? She always wants to open up that finance app. So
Boy.
it's good. right?
See,
So
I already know she's good.
yeah.
um, what was it? When it comes to the stocks and the RSPs, I think, you know what? One thing that I think I mentioned to folks and it kind of made them scared was, okay, you can open up an account for your child,
Mhm.
but if they make money, so or like interest, or I'll say interest, if they make interest or dividends, ideally you're going to be paying for that until they're 18 and it's transferred over. And they're like, what?
No, you
No,
don't. No,
no, no.
that's not how it works.
That's not how it works? Wait,
No.
correct me if I'm wrong, please. With the
With your RESP,
not the RESP, it, like a regular account.
the taxes,
Yeah.
on the gains or the there's a it's a gray line. You can, depending on how but I think that's more of a gray line.
Yeah,
If
true.
the child legitimately earned the money,
Hmm.
i.e. the original capital,
Yeah.
then it shouldn't be difficult to argue that the capital is taxable in their hands, right? However, there is what they call the kiddie tax rules, which is, people are making money trying to use their kids to make money because their kid ain't got no income. They're trying to put money in their account and turn it into an income source, and then therefore you get penalized for that type of thing.
Yeah.
But source of income is a good way to do that. And RESPs don't get taxed until withdrawal, right? So
Exactly.
you still
That
have
that
some.
one I always recommend.
Yeah.
But there's always people that want to see how much how many loopholes or lines, gray lines they could cross. And I'm like, you
Look,
know what?
people want to push the boundaries. They want to keep more
Yeah.
money in their pockets. They want to give less of it to the government, and they want to put more in their pocket. And there's nothing wrong with legally within those boundaries figuring out how far you can push things, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Why would you want to have less money in your bank? So
True.
why
That
not
is true.
ask? Why not check? The rules are there,
Mhm.
and as long as you're obeying by them, and that results in more money in your pocket, why not?
Yeah, that's true. And I think so I like that you have those views and stuff. Are there any other, you did mention the trustees,
Mhm.
but do you like that avenue or way of
It depends on what you're doing and where you are, and there's just so many dynamics. But assuming we're in Canada,
Mm,
then I would first max out the RESP, right? Because it's free money. It's
mhm.
only taxable in the hands of the person that withdraws it. So if you withdraw the profits, it's taxable to you. If your child withdraws the profits, it's taxable to your child, right?
Yeah.
And then you go from there, right? So then after that, if you've maxed out your RESP,
Mm,
which if you've done that over the course of 14 years and you've already put aside maybe 50, 60 grand for your kids to go to school, they're
yeah.
all set there. And then, but you figured after you did about 50, 60 that you want to keep going, then you can open up a non-registered account, be the custodian for the next, 5 years or so, and then I think you max out by the time you're like 13 or 14. Right?
Mm. True, because the lifetime contribution for the RSPs are, I think, 50 at the moment. I double checked that recently. Um, that's not bad. In the span of 18 years.
You can do it in, I think you could, if you contribute the max every year, I think by the time they're 13 or 14 years old. So by the time my daughter's 13 or 14,
Yeah.
it'll be maxed out,
Yeah. Nice.
assuming that the money keeps coming in.
Ooh,
around
and
here.
is it depending on what the future holds? Is it wise to have like the family plan?
I haven't really studied it that much.
Mhm.
I think if you only have one child, it doesn't make a difference,
Okay, true,
right?
true, true, true,
Um,
true.
if you're gonna have more than one child, then and I don't know all the plans off the top of my head, but if you're gonna have more than one child, then
Mhm.
you want to take that into consideration when you do it, right? Because
Yeah.
then I think there's one plan that specifically allows the plan to be transferable within the same
So
family. So you just want to
yeah,
make sure that you have something like that. So if, if one child goes wayward and doesn't want to go to school and or they pick a different path, they want to be a singer or a dancer and there's no program like and they want to do it do it through the unconventional, or I should say the conventional way of just doing it just from being good at your craft,
yeah.
then there's not really a school, you don't get really paid for that per se. You can't send it to a school. So then you
Mm,
transfer to the other child that wants to be whatever, construction, doctor, lawyer, or
electrician.
trades or
Yeah.
electrician or, plumber,
Don't,
on anything like that.
yeah. Don't sleep on trades, y'all. I
Don't,
I
don't, don't,
don't sleep on them. I
don't.
personally know how much some of them make.
I don't know how
Um,
much they make, but I know how much I pay, and it's a lot. It's a whole lot. When they come to your house, they get paid. They get paid just to show up. As a matter of fact, my washing machine just broke down,
oof.
and I had to pay someone $80 just to come and tell me that. Came in the house, oh, yep, open up, yep, your washing machine's broken down, and you have to get a new one. And they left. 10 minutes later, $80 made, and they're good to go. That's a good $80 every 10 minutes is not a
Dang.
bad gig.
How long does it take to be? Oh, no. $80 for 10 minutes? Yo.
Yeah, well, they're getting paid for their knowledge. I understand the other side of it, right? Like, why would he come all the way down here for free to, there's obviously gas and travel and commute and stuff, but if they do it well enough, you can kind of cluster your appointments within areas and you can go house to house to house. And before you know it, you haven't left the neighborhood and it's an hour gone and you've already made $300-400 for the hour.
That'd
So
be sweet.
yeah.
Um, I did have a question about that. So, you're saying Zoe, if Zoe didn't want, so you have one for Zoe, let's say, an RESP, and she says, "Nah, Dad, I don't want to go to school. I want to become a singer or dancer," like you said.
Mhm.
Would you be okay with that? Because I know like the
I'm
old
okay with it
school
if she's okay with it. I'm just gonna say, look, there's about $50,000-$60,000 sitting down in this account.
Mhm.
If you go to school, it's yours. Do you think that'll help your singing career? If you don't go to school, it's mine. So what do you want to do? I think you better learn how to sing at school, but if you don't want to learn how to sing at school, then no problem. I'll keep my 50, 60, and then we go from there.
Yeah,
Right?
because I
And it doesn't
know.
like
Yeah.
there's so many schools that are eligible. And it's not like if you want to be a singer, you want to do a craft, there
Mhm.
are schools and programs that support
That way.
that type of whatever it could be if you want to be a singer, dancer, you want to be in the industry, whatever it is, there are enough programs that why wouldn't you want to learn some of the technical background behind the craft that you say you want to master and take all of daddy's money while you're there and enjoy your education because you won't have to worry about anything, and why not, right? It'll be like a 1 or 2 year program.
Yeah.
It won't cost you that much money and you'll get the change and you can do whatever you want to do with it. Maybe then you can use it to do your own, you can use that infrastructure. And I think that's what people don't appreciate about school is that
Mhm.
school provides you an infrastructure where if you go there with the right intent,
Yeah.
you can literally leverage the entire infrastructure that you need to master your craft, right? So you can go to
Mhm.
school and take jazz and do jazz. And if you want to be jazz, it's fine. Or
Yeah.
you can go to school and you can connect with you know, find a friend that likes to record and find a friend that likes to edit, find a friend that likes to do
Network.
video. And you could literally create your album while you're in school because now you have money backing you as well. And before you're done school, you could have a degree, you can have your album done, and the school is going to support, they're going to give you access to all their systems. People are going to get amazing experiences from what they do. I don't know why they would turn down that opportunity.
You have a good point. You have a great point, because I think the one thing that is key is that you've provided a safety net to be able to level up, or level up to be able to succeed in life and have like the generational wealth. So I think that's a great thing to discuss ever so often. And I'm hoping and praying that like most of my friends or loved ones that have children do. I know it's tricky for like some moms or dads that have kids, and it's not as easy as others, right? But I just hope that they see like you want to if you talk about money with your child, you'll be able to have a safety net for them mentally, physically, mentally, and I said that already, financially and stuff. And you guys can also learn at the same time. Look, you said you taught your parents about finance as they grew. And I think, and I always say, I sometimes say, and I think I just showed it at the beginning, I always say that I feel like a grandma when it comes to technology. And like, I can only imagine what is it, Gen Z or Gen Z, what they know.
I lost track. What comes after Z? It's like you go back to AA, like AA batteries. Is that what happens? Gen AA, like, or Energizers.
This keeps going and going.
I don't know what happens after Z. I got to go look that one up.
Right, but
I'm
it's like
they're here now, so I got to go check.
It's like they know the technology that they're learning so fast these days is scary, because I'm just like, how do you do this again? But so what I'm trying to say is for parents that are like your age or my age, they should be having that talk with their kids, because they're learning really fast these days.
Yeah, engage with your kids as early as you can, right?
What do you think is a good age?
Birth?
Based on you, yeah. So what, sir? What's a good age to start discussing?
The day they're born.
The day they're born. Jeez.
The day they're born. The day she was born, we had to talk about the cost of diapers and her need to pitch in. Like, this is things are going to be a little expensive around here. You're going to have to find your way. You have to pitch in with the diapers. Obviously, that's a joking conversation.
Yes, of course.
But I don't know why you can't talk about the cost of things or money or anything. In the beginning, they don't understand any of it, right? Not even the words I'm speaking, they don't understand in theory, right? But I will read. You can, if you read financial stuff, then read it out loud rather than reading it silently while they're there, just so they can hear it and pick up on it. Believe it or not, they do pick up on at least I've been told, they pick up on the language, right? And so they learn certain things and they hear it over and over again. Yeah. And eventually they pick up on it. So when I'm reading about the markets, I make a conscious effort when she's around to read it out loud, right? Now, half the time she runs away and picks up a toy or something, and right, but sometimes, if it's 1 minute or 2 minutes of listening that she gets in there before she says, I'd rather play with toys, then that kind of sets it. One, it introduces a different vocabulary.
True.
Right. And then two, it just introduces different thoughts. And because what they're trying to do is she's trying to figure out, what are these words being said? What do they mean? Right. and so that's also part of the process. So there's not really, it just, there is something for every age,
Yeah,
right?
true.
And you just have to figure out what works for you, right? And I just like that idea really came, I learned that because I was watching, I was online and I
Mhm.
seen a musician, uh, and they were teaching their, you know, 2-year-old, 3-year-old music, and they're teaching them rhythms, right?
Mm.
Just doing something basically like clap, right?
Yeah.
And then the child clapped. I said, oh, yeah, teach my child to clap. But then they went 1, 2, and the child went 1, 2. Then I was like, to this day, I can't get my child to 1, 2. But I don't know what he did. I don't know what he did to get his child there, right?
Yes.
But it's probably because he's good at his craft and
And
can
then,
then he understands how to teach it. So what I seen on Instagram, I now know that there's more behind that than just seeing them go 1, 2, because I still can't get the 1, 2, and I've been trying for about a whole year now, right? So I figured that I would just stick to what I know best, and
yeah.
that stuff is easy, right? If I come
Mhm.
on here and start putting up charts and stuff, she will pick up on the charting and start doing stuff. And I'm like, oh, God, you go ahead, you do
Can
it.
you imagine?
Right?
Oh, the day
So,
that happens, I
so
want to know.
it's just the craft, right? And that's how she picked up on the app, right? She just see me all the time
On the app.
in the financial app. And so now she knows how to get to the phone,
Mhm.
open up the financial app, and then she'll start scrolling through like she's reading articles, and right, and
That's amazing.
she does it at too, right? But that's just because she's mirroring
What
what
she sees.
she's seeing, right? And children pick up quick.
Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you said that. Yeah, mirroring what she sees. So it's, and that's why the thumbnail is the youth are watching us.
Yeah.
Like I can remember um picking on certain money traits like my parents have, probably more
Mhm.
of my dad than my mom. My brother was like my mom
Mhm.
with the fancy things in life. I'm trying
Okay.
to see the fancy things in life, but yeah, I just want to stress it to folks that your children, whether they're your nephews, nieces, children, godchildren, they are watching. And if you haven't learned great healthy relationships with money, try, so they'll be able to do better than you in the future, because you know they are the future, and you want them to be I was gonna say zillionaires.
Well, apparently that's how much a house is going to cost. So they are going to have to be zillionaires to buy one eventually.
Jeez.
$1 million is, yeah, it depends on where
So,
you are though. But
yeah.
you know, the average price of a home now is $1 million. By the time they get older, if they can get a house for $1 million, that would be pretty impressive. That would be a shocker for me if houses were, $1 million for the next, next 15, 20 years. If houses just stayed stagnant, I'd be shocked.
Oh, indeed. I thought it's a million for sure now, or it's a little bit
Give
above.
or take, I don't know if a $995,000 mortgage makes a difference between a million for you or 900, but for all intents and purposes, it's $1 million.
Listen, if it's 955, I want to say it's below a million.
Do you? Well, that helps you with the mortgage. I don't know. That's
Shoot.
like an extra, I don't know, $20, $10 on your mortgage or something like that.
True, true.
It's not a monthly payment. It's not making a difference.
Yeah. That no, you're absolutely right. It's just, oh gosh. Just the thought of it being 3 million in the future is just to me.
I don't know if it's three. I don't know what it's gonna. I have no idea what it's gonna be. Maybe houses prices will come down and people will abandon that way of lifestyle. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I
they'll go
doubt
into
it.
the
I could be
metaverse.
wrong. Everybody wants to live in the metaverse. Exactly. They'll just live inside their phone. Just take your phone, put some shelter on it, build, and then you just jump in. Maybe somebody will create some tech where you could just jump in your phone and live there.
Oh gosh. Like
And then all this real estate that they've been buying in the metaverse now becomes real because you can actually live in your phone and then jump out when you're ready.
I have seen people getting into the metaverse land, and I'm like, interesting.
I'm still struggling with some of the
Concepts.
metaverse concepts, but there's other things that I can kind of get why it would make sense
Mhm.
from a virtual world. And I think we'll find a balance somewhere in there. And there'll be great opportunities to invest and make money, right?
Absolutely. Are there any other avenues that you think would work, or not? Not even that. Sorry. What advice would you give parents with kids or god kids, nieces and nephews? Because they need
Um,
to know.
yeah, you just have the discussion
Mhm.
about money. And I'm not saying like the discussion, not like you're talking about having kids or babies or adolescents, whatever. I'm just like, learn to make it a part of everyday language,
Mhm.
right? That's one. And if you really just don't know, because some don't know, right?
Yeah.
Find somebody around you that that's knowledgeable, knows about money, and let your kids start to have that discussion with them, right? And
Sure.
that's why that
That's
is
it.
what's so special about the program that we do with the kids. It's because we can start the discussion with the kids and we can ask them, what do you guys talk about at home? And
Mhm.
when the program's over, we always make sure that we send them back to their parents to ask a specific question or to talk about a specific topic that we've covered during the session to get their perspective. That's kind of like their homework, is having a discussion at home.
Yeah.
It's so important to have those discussions because sometimes parents don't know how to start that discussion. They don't know the discussion themselves because they've never had it. Their person talks about money. And so find someone that is capable of having that discussion and then sending them back to you to talk about it. And you can learn together, right? You don't have to act like you know it all. Don't I pay all the bills around here and you don't know nothing about money. That's not the discussion that you want to have. You want to have a discussion around, yeah, this is how it works. This
Mhm.
is, how I set aside the money to pay for this, this, and this. This is how your school gets paid. This is how you eat. This is how you get to school, right? Even if it starts there. And then it's like, okay, this is how I'm preparing for my future, which is, I'm putting aside money for myself so
Yeah.
that when I'm ready to retire, I can do that, right? Or I'm putting all my money in you, and then you're going to spend all your money on me when I get old and I can't work. And, AKA the black tax, right? Which is that you never get out of it. Your parents guilt you into spending your life earnings on them because they've invested all of their money in you, some responsibly, some irresponsibly. And therefore now they're expecting payback when they get older because that's what their parents did to them, right?
Mhm.
And so it's a never ending cycle when you do that. But if you can have that discussion around setting yourself up, setting up your child, and that it's a win-win along the way, then that's a good discussion to have, right?
Oh, that black tax. How do you think that black tax can be reduced?
Parents have to be willing to make difficult decisions,
Mhm.
and it's so you gotta, and I can't tell people what that difficult decision is, right?
Mhm.
But it's definitely hard. Everybody, when resources are limited, you have to make a choice. Do I
Mhm.
do this or do I do that, right? And
Sure.
I think in some cases you have to invest that money in your child because why, that's why you're doing it. You want to make sure your child has a better future, right? But if you do it to the extent that you become a burden to your child, right, then it defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do,
Mm,
right? Where your child is now trying to raise a family, but instead of being able to just raise their family, they got to still take care of you, and they got to take care of brother, sister, whatever it is, because they haven't found their way in life either. And you're saying, help your brother, help your sister. And, in this cycle, never ends. But if you do that, if you take that same scenario and you help your brother, you help your sister, you help your mother, and you have these discussions in a way where everybody is growing,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Then that's the better way to do it, right? Not you're guilting people into giving you money for this and giving you money for that. And then all the money is just being wasted because you haven't collectively figured out how to build together, right? And I think that there's a fine line there, and people have to find out what works for them. I can't tell somebody that this is what you got to do.
Sure.
And it's a challenge. It is a real challenge. And I'm not saying it's not, it definitely is. And people got to figure it out.
It's kind of saying we're stronger together than separate.
Of course, there are a lot of family empires out there, right? You look at the stock market, and there are tons of family empires, right? So it's not like it's not possible. It's very possible. But those families had discussions that other families are afraid to have or refuse to have or don't want to have or think that people aren't mature enough to have. And you never have that discussion. And then the family empire is never possible. Right? So if you don't, it is a shift in mindset, but the stock market is flooded with names, last names of family empires. Right?
It's true. We're waiting for your empire, sir.
Mine? I'm getting old. I'm gonna have to hope my daughter kind of puts on the finishing touches.
So you're gonna pass the baton to her.
I'm gonna pass the baton, my soul. I think at this point it's twofold for me. One is that I need to be able to position her to pursue the things that she wants to pursue and to be good at it and to become independent and excel at what she does. Right? At the same time, I have to make sure that I take care of myself to the extent that she never has to worry about, daddy needs money. Right? It just doesn't make any sense. I'd be pretty embarrassed having to ask for it. But that balance is my responsibility, where it's like she can feel comfortable going out, taking risk, and taking things to another level. And at the same time, not having to worry about having to take care of family, right? At least from a financial perspective, because everybody has found their own way.
Yeah. That's a good point. And that is a very great way to end it, because figuring a way how to have a family legacy, and I always say it, generational wealth, and figuring out a balance is key, and hopefully this black tax that we've mentioned can be tamed. I'll say tamed, not reduced, but tamed. But because there are other cultures that go through the same thing. But if we're able to,
I don't know what they call that tax. I just know what we call it. So they might have I don't think they use the same name that we do, but I'm pretty sure they have a name for it too.
Of course. I think my friend told me theirs, but that's another story. But once again, Kurt, thank you for blessing the stage. You're always welcome here.
All right. Thank you for having me. I
Yes,
must have get some more friends to call in and give good reviews
yeah.
so I can come back.
Hooray. So folks, make sure you like, subscribe, review, and keep the chats coming. You love Kurt and what he says, and you want to learn a little bit more. And actually, is it possible that, like, if someone wanted that program from us, that they can get a hold of us?
Wanted which program?
With the stock market.
Well, if they wanted to participate, of course.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
So make
they can reach
sure.
out. They know where to find you. Fitness IQ.
Mhm.
Follow you on YouTube. You're everywhere.
I am.
can
except
find-
TikTok. I refuse, but I might have to eventually. But we'll see.
Yeah, well, the point is, yeah, of course they can join in. We can figure something out. We'll just have to figure out. The more important question is, when are we going to do the next one? And that way they can join in on the fun.
Exactly. And don't worry, the fun is always here and all that good stuff. But on that note, folks, I am out. I got work to do. I'm sure Kurt has money to make. I'm joking. And all that
I
good
got
stuff.
diapers to change.
Ooh, diaper duties. I'm trying to, there we go. So on that note, folks, like, subscribe. Thank you again, Kurt. It's always a pleasure seeing you and all that good stuff.
Good. Love being here. Thank you for having me.
No problem. There we are. Oh, one sec. There it is.
Anywhere,
God of Fame Music.
a Villaville, flip, floss, money, literacy boss. Flip, floss, money, literacy boss. Flip, floss, money, literacy boss. Flip, floss, anywhere, chop, flip and floss, money, literacy boss. Greatness in our blood because you're working for your cause. Flip and floss, money, literacy boss. Yeah, boots up your knowledge for your minimal cost. Yo, flip and floss, money, literacy boss. Greatness in our blood because you're working for your cause. Flip and floss, money, literacy boss. Yo, boots up your knowledge for your minimal cost. Wait, hear me argument.